This is Pete Toll, aka PT Sports 84, back with another video. Wanted to highlight in this video, 2K dropped another um, official roster update today. Today is Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. As everybody knows, the big news is Russell Westbrook going to the Clippers, Kevin Love going to the Miami Heat. So I just want to break that down, along with some other moves, some smaller moves that happened over the last couple of days. As many know, the NBA is not back until Thursday. Took a little short break after the All-Star game. Unfortunately, that All-Star game was really, really bad. Just not a good look across the board. What's up, Kerry? Hope you're doing well, man. Um, yeah, that All Star game, you got to put an asterisk next to Jason Tatum getting 55 points. I mean, there was no defense at all. I think the only two that signaled really playing defense was Embiid and Lillard, basically kind of whispering, saying, let's get some defensive stops here and there. Overall, it was awful. Get rid of the not rising stars. Get rid of the skills competition as well. Go back to the shooting stars. Pick an NBA player, like the best shooter on the NBA team, the best shooter out of the WNBA equivalent, and then take a legend from that franchise. Like, say you get the Pacers, right? So you take Buddy Hield, because next year is Indiana. So you take, say, Buddy Hield's on the team next year, or Halliburton. Like, if you really wanted to go that route, if Hield's not there, you go with that. Whoever from the Fever for the WNBA, and then you take like Reggie Miller, since he's on the TNT broadcast. Like, get them as the legends in the Shooting Stars competition. Let's see who can come out on top. Pick, anywhere from 4 to 6 teams for the Shooting Stars competition, and go that route. It's way better than skills competition, because when you start getting these bigs and all that stuff, like Jabari Smith Jr. couldn't hit, anything. The Antetokounmpo brothers, the two that can't shoot, Alex and Thanasis, it was just awful to watch. And then the rookies couldn't hit anything. So I don't know. It is what it is. But anyway, NBA is back on Thursday. Let's jump into this update. Enough rambling from me. Let's go through some of the small things. I'll just go in order by teams. Some of the small things adjusted. McClung, who won the NBA dunk contest, gets a position change in this update. He is now a point guard, as he should have been from the get-go. He gets a badge added to him as well. So let's take a look at which badge that is for him. I'm going to guess it's one of the dunking badges. I'd assume, yep, gold limitless takeoff for him. So that's added in for him based on the dunk contest. They did not, excuse me, they did not update his dunk rating, or driving dunk, I should say. Still 87. I personally would have it higher, across the board. But I think if he gets to play, which I'm not optimistic with Doc Rivers as the coach. Maybe his rating goes up a little bit, but we'll see what happens there. Milwaukee Bucks get Myers Leonard coming back to the NBA after 2 years of being out. Obviously, he had the racial slur, which is never appropriate. But that's not the only thing that kind of put him out of the NBA. That's the main thing, I think. He had a lot of rehabilitation to do behind the scenes with that. But he had an ankle surgery that did not go well. Me as well, Paolo. Yeah, definitely. I don't agree with any of it across the board, no matter what race you are. But yeah, so Myers Leonard, he did a lot of behind the scenes work to really apologize. So you got to give him credit there. Have to give benefit of the doubt because he at least put in the effort. Whether it shows through action for the remainder of his NBA career, his out of the NBA life, that remains to be seen. But I give somebody the benefit of the doubt for at least trying to fix themselves. But Myers Leonard also had a shoulder injury that required surgery, as well as a major ankle injury that ended up with nerve damage. So he really has been rehabbing for 2 years based on that. He's given a shot because they wanted to give him a look last year, but he wasn't healthy enough. So Milwaukee gets a shooting big right now, where it looks like Giannis Antetokounmpo might miss a couple games due to that wrist injury. It's not serious, but enough that he'll be out for maybe 2-3 games or so. You already have Bobby Portis missing time, so they really needed a stretch big as Jay Crowder works his way back into NBA conditioning. So Myers Leonard is that choice. 2K has officially added him, which I'm always glad. What's up, Hunter? I'm always glad to see 2K adding guys pretty quickly based on transactions. Always good to see guys that were taken out due to licensing agreements being out of the NBA more than one season added back in. So now, obviously, Myers Leonard, you could add to the draft classes and stuff like that. So on to more news. So Patrick Beverley is now a Chicago Bull. He's from Chicago. Good to see him back home. I think he's really going to help. I personally think he'd be better off starting just because he's more of a spot-up three. You're going to have DeRozan kind of run the offense anyway, so now you can have Beverley in there for defense. It allows Dosunmu to kind of be the energizer off the bench as the point guard backup, and then Caruso can kind of play the 2 and the 3 a little bit on the wing. Tony Bradley's still here in this update because it was just announced like 25 minutes ago that Bradley was going to be the one officially waived. Before that, it was assumed either he or Goran Dragic were going to be waived to make room for Beverley, but now it is official. Tony Bradley is waived. Also came out, unfortunate news on Lonzo Ball. He's out for the remainder of the season. This is kind of sad because Lonzo is only 24, 25, I should say, and he is going to be out, with, the major injury and stuff like that overall. So it's just tough to know what is going to happen with Lonzo long term with that knee. Is it degenerative, kind of like Brandon Roy? Brandon Roy was a little bit different, but we'll see what happens going forward with Lonzo. Hopefully he can get that correct moving forward. So Malik, yeah, I'll get back to you, man. I saw your message. Very sorry about that, not getting back to you quicker. But yeah, I'll hit you up in just a little bit and get back to you. I don't get on Instagram that often, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I saw your message yesterday, so I will shoot you a message back. But yeah, mock draft. Yeah, I'll do a mock draft when we get closer to the draft lottery, so I know kind of who might go where. Obviously, Wembanyama is going to be the first pick. Scoot Henderson. I like Brandon Miller a lot out of Alabama. I think he's a very good sleeper. But anyway, with Lonzo, yeah, I worry about that knee going into next year. Are they going to have another surgery? Is it something with a nerve in his back? Because when you get back like a lower back injury that can kind of be hidden, that can affect the nerve in the leg. We'll see what the ultimate diagnosis is. Obviously, his dad is saying that like everything's right, he'll be back to normal, all that stuff. But that's what he's going to say when it comes time to promote his son. Obviously, he's still trying to get LiAngelo to the NBA, which is never going to happen. LiAngelo's stinking it up in the G League. And the only reason he's on the G League team is because of LaMelo. I just don't ever see LiAngelo making it, personally. I just don't think he has, I'll be honest, I don't think he has the work ethic, number one. Number two, just the overall skill to want to get better on the court and just making reads in the IQ. I just don't think it's there for him. But anyway, with Lonzo, hopefully he gets back healthy soon. So in is Patrick Beverley. They did switch him to point guard He was a shooting guard in the free agent pool. They flipped him over to point guard, which is good to see. So Kevin Love was obviously waived off of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That opens up a spot for the Cavaliers to sign somebody, possibly off of the buyout market. We'll see what happens there. Moving over to the Clippers. So the Clippers obviously get Russell Westbrook. I'm worried about this one because the Clippers made some great moves at the trade deadline. They were finally getting Kawhi Leonard back to form. They're getting Paul George healthy. They got Plumlee as a backup big to split time with Zubac. They got Norman Powell, who's in the running for Sixth Man of the Year. You have Terrence Mann, who's been very good as their starting point guard. I believe they're like 10-2 when he starts. Bones Highland, more so for next year than this year, but still as a microwave scorer off the bench. I just don't see how Westbrook fits in because he has to have the ball in his hands. Now, Westbrook's more than likely going to start at some point. So what does that do for the starting lineup, overall, like an impact? Even if he came off the bench, you're having to sit Terrence Mann for more minutes. You're not playing Bones Highland, and you're likely not playing Robert Covington now. That's a big loss across the board, and you have less minutes for Eric Gordon, who just came into the rotation. Brandon Boston might as well give up trying to get minutes on this team. Amir Coffey's going to sit. Jason Preston, we're never going to see what he can do down the line because it's just tough bringing Russell Westbrook in now because Morris and George have this vision of what Westbrook was at one time. Westbrook's not that same player. He turns the ball over a lot down the stretch. He can win you games, but he can also shoot you out of games with his poor shooting. We'll see ultimately what happens with Westbrook. I just think it's going to be more of a detriment to their team more than a quality acquisition. But anyway, we get Westbrook on the team. We also get another addition on the team. Moses Brown was waived out of his two-way contract. He wasn't going to play once Plumlee came into the picture. Nate Darling is back in the NBA. For those that don't know who he is, he had previously been on a two-way contract with the Charlotte Hornets. So I just feel like with Darling, that gives them a shooter that they can develop. Keep him in the G League. He'll just develop there. He's not going to play very much for the Clippers unless there's like injuries or a lot of rest there. But that's a good flyer to take for later because he's been doing well in the G League. So going over to the Miami Heat, obviously Kevin Love comes in. He's going to be a power forward. We'll see what happens if Caleb Martin keeps the starting spot at power forward and then Kevin Love slots in as the backup, like kind of power forward center mix, just so it doesn't disrupt the rotation. The only issue is Kyle Lowry is going to be out until basically next week, if not longer. They've got to get Lowry healthy if they're going to have any chance in the playoffs. You can play Gabe Vincent and then have Butler and Tyler Hero handle the ball a bunch, and then that gives you Max Strus in a lineup with them. Even Martin can slide down to the three and gives you a good combination. But overall, I think Lowry's going to be – his health is more important than even the Kevin Love signing, although Kevin Love's going to be able to stretch the floor, get some rebounds, things like that. It's the defensive end to where he's going to be hampered. Now, the defensive end is where they're hoping, like with rebounding and things like that, Cody Zeller, who they also signed, can come into play. Gives you a veteran some spot minutes at the backup center behind Adebayo. They basically it remains to be seen if they're going to get your 7 back from injury. That means he's not going to play a ton. It also means, what's up, Hugo? It also means Orlando Robinson likely won't be converted from his two-way contract. So we'll see what happens with that. But once Orlando Robinson got hurt, it kind of, hindered his progress a little bit. that he was on. And come playoff time, you don't want to play somebody with inexperience, in Robinson's case anyway. So getting Zeller as a backup center to play some spot minutes is key for them overall. So just real quick, some teams with some decisions to make for roster spots. The Hornets have to sign somebody soon based on the trade deadline. They are down a roster spot. So I think McGowan's gets converted personally. The Jazz, same thing. They need to sign a player, actually 2 players. I think they convert Johnny Dzang and then sign somebody else. We'll see what happens. Rui, yeah. I mean, they definitely need a full-time point guard. And Dopey Music, yeah, man. Thursday, we'll see what happens. If we get an update or not. Like, we may get a retro update, we may not. I don't know when those are planned. I can send feedback all day long. I don't get any, heads up of, hey, we're putting out an update. Like, look out for this, da-da-da-da-da. Like, it's just basically, it comes out and I catch it and then, review it the best I can. So, same thing for the Knicks. I think they convert DeQuan Jeffries. They may go buyout market and get somebody, but I think they're better off going on a filling that second two-way spot. I like Garrison Brooks, the center that they have for Westchester. That's my personal pick. James Akindu, is another one, but that's another guard on a two-way. Don't know if they go that route. We'll see. Hugo, remain patient, man, because I'll say this. 2K has done more this year with the retro updates than they ever have in the past. And the dev that's in charge of the retro stuff is not somebody that's a part of the roster team, let's put it that way. And so they all have to coordinate. The art team has to coordinate. There's a bunch of things at play that a lot of people don't know about. So it's not just one guy making a decision, versus not making a decision. A couple of things have to happen. Some coding stuff has to happen. So it's not just simple hey, let's throw Marc Gasol and Luol Deng in there. Boom, we're done. There's some other variables in there. I won't go into detail, but just know that I believe there's going to be at least one more retro update before the end of April, for sure. Lakers. So previously, D'Angelo Russell had gotten moved to shooting guard. They updated him to point guard in this update. So they had the positions right now based on now Russell's a starter, Schroeder's the backup. So, it's tough, Hugo, man. I get frustrated too, not seeing the retro stuff, man, because I want it in there and I'm like, oh, man, we can get this player. That's cool. Stuff like that. But it just takes a little time. Dopey Music, yeah, man, the new season starts. Hopefully the retro update comes with the new season. We'll see, but I don't know. UP, are they going to do any player likeness updates to current players? If they can get a scan for a current player. The thing about it, a lot of people don't realize, especially with Anthony Edwards, I'll use him as an example. Edwards is not really interested in going out of his way to go to 2K to get a scan. That means 2K has to have take their mobile unit. They use Pixel Gun Studio. The mobile unit has to go to the Timberwolves, wherever they are, whether it's on the road or whatever, and then get Edwards to agree to a scan and then take that data and get it in the game. If Edwards doesn't want to be scanned, there's nothing 2K can do about it. Where's Shaquille O'Neal's son in the Los Angeles Lakers? You talking about Sharif? He's on the Ignite, but he's not getting a call up, I don't think. I would think Jay Huff or one of them gets a call up before Sharif O'Neal gets called up. Headband issues. I don't know. That's something that's art related that goes with that. But going back to the scan. So if Edwards doesn't want to scan, there's nothing 2K can do about it. You can have all the complaints in the world, but if Edwards doesn't want to sit down and get that scan, basically you're asking 2K to do an artist render again, which is already what they have. That's an artist render that was done by one of the lead art guys, not Razor. So let's not throw Razor under the bus. It's another one of the art guys that worked on Anthony Edwards along the way. If you remember, that was the year when they were drafted. LaMelo was drafted, all that stuff. That was the year they had to go heavy on artist renders for the scans because COVID and all that stuff. And they couldn't get the guys in on the truck and get them scanned in. So they scanned them the next summer, but at that point, Anthony Edwards, I guess, didn't want anything to do with it. So he never got an official scan, obviously. Use an example of like Terrence Ross. He said in it was on a live video that he was doing. I think he was streaming a game or something. And somebody asked him about being scanned. And he said, 2K's reached out to me twice to get a scan. I didn't want to do it either time. One time I needed a fresh haircut and a fresh shave, and I didn't have it, and I wasn't going to get into the game like that. The second time, I just didn't have time to make time for them. And so that's how it goes. Like 2K's just not purposely not updating these players because they don't want these players in. Of course 2K wants to be able to market Anthony Edwards scan and have that officially in the game. I'm sure that's top at their priority list. But if the player doesn't want to, all these fans reaching out and saying 2K sucks and we'll never get a scan, they're lazy, da-da-da-da, that's not even true. Like, I know 100% fact how the process works. And it's on Edwards' end at this point. Let's just put it that way. Let's move on to the update. Pistons, Stanley Umide was not renewed on his 10-day contract. We'll see if that gets renewed today or tomorrow. They want to make the most out of the 10-day contracts. So like Myers Leonard will probably officially sign by tomorrow. So that way he's in time for Thursday's action, maybe even Thursday morning, to get the most out of those 10 days. We'll see overall what happens. The Rockets are another team that need some roster spots filled, at least one. I wouldn't be shocked to see Frank Kaminsky bought out at some point for the team. In my opinion, they could buy out Kaminsky and bring on Ray Spalding that's on the Rio Grande Valley. And then you use your other roster spot that you have, and you go get Cassius Stanley or Jalen LeCue from Rio Grande Valley as well. That would make sense. That pretty much wraps up the update. The rest of the stuff is basically the same since last update. The one thing I want to note is the Washington Wizards do need an update to their positions. Kyle Kuzma started at small forward last game with Porzingis shifting to the 4. That's something they can go to moving forward, or Denny Adbia could move back to small forward because you can't just have Corey Kispert be the lone small forward on the team. But we'll see what happens with that. But I would look for the next, after March 1st, an abundance of 10-day contracts signed. Like Sharif Cooper definitely should be brought on to the Cavaliers. Hunter, I missed your question. Sorry, I was looking down. What was your question? Ask me again if you don't mind. But yeah, Sharif Cooper is one that I would want to bring in. Frank Jackson for the Jazz. They need a roster spot filled as well. Frank Jackson has been doing really well as an off guard for the Salt Lake City Stars. You got to look at Grant Riller for the Texas Legends as another guard that can come in, make an impact. I think he deserves a call up as well. You can look down the list. Chris Dunn for the Washington Capital City Go-Go is another one that I can think of that would make a good impact. And then you got some good buyout candidates that are still on the free agent market. I think when you're looking at like John Wall, he could get a spot on a team. I think DeMarcus Cousins could make a team somewhere. LaMarcus Aldridge worked out for the Mavericks. Isaiah Thomas still has a little bit of game. I think he could be a microwave guy. Jared Butler still has some intrigue. The Lakers update roster did not make the playoffs, and LeBron James retired from the league. Oh, interesting. So they would have to code that differently so LeBron doesn't retire. I'm not sure technically how you could do that. I think if you when you look at what do you call it? When you basically you select all teams and you're manually doing it, I think you can override that retirement for LeBron. I believe you could still do that. But 2K would have to code that differently. Uh, because of LeBron's age, he's automatically going to retire at 38, 39 for that. So, yeah, so see, like Madden has a program for Tom Brady and stuff like that. So you could do that. Um, yeah, I thought you could override their retirement. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's disappointing that he retires because obviously he's going to play, barring a significant injury, he wants to play until Bronny gets in the league, at least 1 year, and go from there. So let's just double check because I didn't double check uh, the retro content. Let's see. Let's move over to the Bulls. Nope, no retro content. You can always check for retro content. Look at the 10-11 Bulls, see if Luol Deng is there. Also go over to the Grizzlies to see if Marc Gasol is there. Another one I passed along recommendation for is Deng on the all-time Bulls. Preferably take off Zach LaVine. And then Memphis, obviously, for Marc Gasol. He needs to be there, and you take off Greg Anthony. Moving over, another recommendation I had that I passed along was Jose Calderon added to the all-time Raptors team because I think he's deserving of that. You can either take off Van Vliet or Ibaka, whichever they preferred, and just go from there. But yeah, so like I said, roster update today. I made a video just because of Westbrook and Love and just the impact, and I wanted to talk about some other stuff. So if you would please like the video if you're watching right now, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is basically what it is. Did I miss Marc Gasol? I didn't see. That was Pau Gasol. Yeah. They did not add Marc Gasol. Unless I didn't check the 18-19 Raptors, but nope. They don't have them. Basically, what's going to happen, I believe, in my estimation, is once they do the next retro update, you'll get like let's see, Kenny Satterfield is on the Nuggets. You'll get Satterfield's face updated. You'll get Caldwell Jones added. Hopefully, we get Mike McGee. Um, we'll see abundance of players: Luol Deng, Marc Gasol, Jose Calderon, Liddell Eccles for the Bullets, the 91-92 Bullets. Like those transactions, all in a massive update. Maybe we'll get the Clippers coach updated. Yeah, I don't understand what's happening with Scalabrini and Jason Kidd. That's on the art team not sending that along in the patch. That's exactly what it is. They did that with Oliver Miller. If you guys paid attention to earlier this year, they said Oliver Miller was updated in one patch, and it took them all the way until the next patch to actually update him because they have to send it along. Harold Miner would be the 92 draft class. They are not updating draft classes like they were at the beginning of the year, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's not added till next year. I would not be shocked to see that. It's just not something that they put a priority in. Same with shoes. They updated at the beginning of the year. They did a massive update for shoes, and they've dropped off with that. What's up, Josh? Move. Yeah, but anyway, please, everybody watching, hit the like button. It really helps me out. Sub to the channel. This is the kind of content I bring. Roster updates, just highlighting what's on there. I like to talk a little NBA throughout, so the videos are a little bit longer than just cycling through and saying bye. I like to interact with everybody watching, keep it more authentic. Hope you enjoy that. And it looks like if anything comes out retro-wise at the end of the week, especially Thursday or Friday, with the new season. I will 1000% have a video out for that, highlighting it. If you don't see a video out, that means there's no update with the retro stuff. I try to jump on it as soon as possible whenever an update comes, just to keep everybody informed. But hope you like this content. Hope everybody has a great week. Thanks for watching. And like I said, please like and subscribe. And I will talk to you all next time.